Yo, welcome back to another podcast episode of Stars Talking Cowboys. Starring Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki is in the building.
You gonna dig this. Let's go.
Now, get ready for the hottest podcast coming out of Dallas, Texas, with Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki. Stars Talking Cowboys. Let's go! Yo, here we go again. Back up on the scene. Stars Talking Cowboys. You know what I mean. The podcast repping everything with silver and blue. Keeping it real, that's what they do. Let me tell you about the crew. Sean Fox, spitting facts. K Boogie's giving game. Nikki's got the stats, so of course she covers everything. It's showtime, so let's get to the biz. And that Stars Talking Cowboys. Yeah, you know what time it is.
What up, what up, what up?
What's up, man? What's going on? Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yes, sir.
How's it going for you this glorious Tuesday?
Hey, it's Return Tuesday, if you ask me. It's Return Tuesday. So Jerry has opened up his heart a little bit and spread some New Year's cheer. I can't believe it. I'm like, wow. It's a blessing in disguise.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. What was I about to say? 2024. At the beginning of every year, we always talk about a seasonal change, New Year's resolutions. All that good stuff. And hey, hopefully this is a year of change from us. I really want to start out with, I am so glad that Jimmy Johnson is in the Ring of Fame, Ring of Honor for the Cowboys. That made my day. That really, really made my day.
To be honest with you, it should have been 10 years sooner. I mean, I don't know why Jerry waited so long. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, bro. And look how enthusiastic Jimmy was with the players, him and Michael Irvin and Emmett and Troy. Troy was being all stoic. I'm like, come on, Troy. I know you're on TV, bro. Come on, bro. You saw how Michael Irvin and Emmett, they just love that man. Oh, Charles Haley, everybody showed that man so much love. I'm like, come on, Jerry. You should have done this years ago. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. Can't wait. I can't wait for Darren Woodson to get in the Hall of Fame now. Listen, we need Woody in there. Woody needs to be in the Hall of Fame. They need to stop playing. Put Woody in. What's up, Fox? You froze a little. Sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties. Fox should be back on in a few seconds. He's just going through the matrix right now. Foxy. Let me see. I wanted to see. Well, I like the light better. Well, blame it on the Matrix.
All right, I'm so sorry. I had some technical difficulties here.
Don't worry, blame it on the Matrix. Funniest thing is I switched too. I switched positions too.
Let me try to get back on my other line.
All right.
So, what were we talking about before?
He's talking about Jimmy Johnson and being in the Ring of Honor.
Yes.
It should have been like 10, 15 years before this time. But hey, I'm fortunate. And Darren Woodson, we just need him in the Hall of Fame next. We need Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why he's not, but we need Woody in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I like I said, I definitely think so too. And I'm saying it from a Cowboys bias, being the Cowboys, being a little biased because I'm a Cowboys fan. But at the same time, I'm realistic because there's so many great players out there, and there's only so many slots that you could have to.
But Woody was a Swiss Army knife for us, though. He was a Swiss Army knife. Oh, we got double the trouble.
All right, there we go.
All right, we good now. We good.
Yes,
What's up, Nick?
we are right.
Oh, she about to give it to somebody. I can tell with the tutor. She already done tooting. What she tooting about? What up, Nick?
Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. What's going on? Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. We were just talking about Jimmy Johnson being inducted into the Ring of Honor. How great it was. Now maybe the curse of Jimmy Johnson will be lifted. So his mojo helped us out a little bit on Saturday.
Wait a minute, his mojo also helped us today too.
So was that the Jimmy Johnson effect at the game? Matter of fact, the game on right now on NFL Network. So for me, that moment meant everything. It meant everything. That moment, being there, seeing it live, seeing it happen, finally happen. It was just a different feeling. That you could fit the energy in there was just totally different from the moment the game kicked off, even when he did the up to the induction being done, and even afterwards, like that moment, that time, that feeling was just so good because it's something that all Cowboy fans have been wanting, asking for, begging for. And it gives you the sense of, okay, Jerry actually listened to the fans this time on this. Because I can't say that, Jerry did it on his own, because if he would have did it on his own, it would have been done. So I feel like he actually listened to the fans this time and got it done, and got it right and got it done. I feel like he made it right. With him and Jimmy. And I think the first step to that was when him and Jimmy had the conversation they had off camera, away from cameras, and when they spoke about a lot of things that they both had pinned up in them on why everybody was assuming what their anger was towards each other. So when they did that with themselves, away from cameras and without the media spotlight on it, and the media making it bigger than probably what it was, um, that's when that happened. That's when the moment happened. And Jerry, so I figured it was gonna be Jimmy when Jerry said the next person that goes into the Ring of Honor is gonna be a coach. I'm like, what other coach can it be? Can't be nobody but Jimmy, But I didn't think he was gonna do it this year. I was like, oh, it'll be next year. So he shocked everybody with that. He surprised everybody with it. Um, and it's great. It was great. Um, Jimmy Johnson's speech. If that speech didn't move you, I didn't make you feel some type of way after he spoke, then I hate to say it, but you ain't a real fan. And I don't like calling people not saying people ain't real fans because everybody got different emotions and got different feelings, and I get it. But if that moment and if that speech did not move you, you can't be a real fan of the Dallas Cowboys. You had to come in as a bandwagon. You had to come in because your spouse liked the Cowboys or your boyfriend liked the Cowboys or your girlfriend liked the Cowboys. You cannot honestly tell me that you are a real fan if that moment and if that speech did not move you. When you had grown people, grown men sitting there crying, you can't tell me that speech didn't wasn't what it's supposed to do. And it seems like even after that, like the energy from the players was just different. It was just different. And I think it was different when they came out the locker room because Jimmy actually spoke to them in the locker room before the game. So having that type of presence in your locker room before the game and speaking to you before a game, um, that that does something to you. All right,
Mm.
next person, I'll let y'all have it.
Nah,
I know I
No, you good.
go, I
nah,
go
it was
on.
Look,
you was there. You was
look.
there.
I'm over here.
Don't be crying on the show. We ain't got no tissue.
Shoot, I was angry. I wanted to curse Jerry out. The heck with that. I was like, come on, man. You made us wait this long. Come on, Jerry. What's wrong with you? I was mad. I was actually mad. Like, come on, Jerry. This should have been done a long time ago. Look at the emotion of the players. Look at the fans. The energy that was in that building. You could feel, even though I wasn't there, but you could feel the energy. It was like a playoff atmosphere. You could feel it. So I was like, come on, Jerry. Why you wait so long? Don't wait. Don't do this again. Please, God, don't do this again. You know what I'm saying? I love Jimmy. Jimmy was in tears. That's a beautiful sight. It was vainglorious. I'm glad we won
Yeah.
that game though. Oh my God, I'm glad we won that game. Cause
Yeah. Well,
those referees done messed up. Those referees messed up.
before we talk about the
Mm.
referees, let's talk about the game itself. Um, I felt like this was, this is what a playoff game is going to be like. You know,
Exactly.
this is you had a team that was, I don't want to say desperate because the Lions had already won the division, but they were shooting for a bigger goal, and that was to get that number 2 seed. And they played like it. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that they didn't. They played hard. They gave us, you know, some good competition, and regardless of how we won the game, we won the game. Um, but I am going to say that before we talk about the controversial call, um, we wouldn't have had to put ourselves in that position if Lamb wouldn't have fumbled the ball outside the end zone.
I know. I know. I don't know what he was thinking. He was trying to switch hands and the ball come down. I'm like, wait a minute. Did he just fumble that ball? I was like, Lamb
Yeah.
doesn't fumble. I was like, oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. That game shouldn't have even been that close, to be honest with you. It shouldn't have been that close.
Yeah, it was another one of those moments of us, okay, here we go, shooting ourselves in the foot. Here we
Yeah.
go, having a chance, having a time to like kind of blow this game open, and we shoot ourselves in the foot. So that it was just one of those moments for me. Um, it was just like, oh God, but I'm glad it happened as early in the game as it did because we were able to recover from it. You know, so I mean, it could have happened in the end of the game when it was we needed it to win.
Mm.
You know, so it happened when it happened, and we were able to recover from it. Um,
So
You know,
so before we get all the way to the end of the game, what was your biggest takeaway from the game? Let's start with you, Nikki, and then we'll get you, K Boogie.
no.
oh, there I go. Um, my biggest takeaway from the game was this for the first time for me with this team, I seen a team that was determined. I seen a team that wasn't giving up. I seen a team that said they had some of the mishaps they had, but they were like, we're not losing at home tonight. We're not doing it. And despite of some of the little small things that happened, um, they found a way to band together and they found a way to make it work on both sides of the team. Both sides. It seemed like both sides was playing ball. They came to play ball. Um, Also, what stood out for me is CD Lamb. That boy has became who we thought he was and who he thought he could be when we picked him in the draft, when he fell to us in the draft. Um, we wasn't supposed to have him, but he fell to us, him and Michael Parsons. They fell to us. So to see how this young man has turned his game on and put his game face on in games, and him and Dak have become that wide receiver quarterback duo, is just like, whew, it don't matter where you play him. You put him outside, you can put him in the slot. It don't matter where you put him. He gonna get the ball. And I seen why he was upset when they wasn't giving him the ball or when they was took the ball out of his hands. He makes things happen when he put the ball in his hands. So um that's the biggest takeaway for me, was just seeing the connection between him and Dak, seeing how they play so well together, how they do play well together. And again, I liked how the defense came out. I love how the defense played. Despite the little mix ups, little mishaps they had, but I liked what I seen from the defense. But my only downside to that is I don't never see why we don't see this team on the road. We see it at home, but why we don't see it on the road? Why we don't see this much energy on the road? And we have fans on the road, so it's not like we don't have a fan base that's on the road following them and traveling them, because they have it. I don't know, but we can get to that too down the line about the road versus home. But shout out to them. We're the only team in the NFL that
Mm,
have went 2 seasons and haven't lost at home.
mm.
Okay, Boogie, what's your take from this game?
Take from the game is it's actually, I'm glad we were physical on the defensive side of the ball. The only issue I have is that we cannot run the ball consistently. We become one-dimensional against some of these better defenses, and that's one thing that, I was watching the game with some of my closest friends, and we were just sitting down and saying, listen, I'm the only Cowboy fan in the group, basically. And they were basically saying, hey, you guys are one-dimensional. I say, yeah, I know we're one-dimensional, and that's going to be a problem in the playoffs against better teams. That's why when we play on the road, we don't bring the same energy because we're not physical. And the physicality comes from the running game, not the passing game on the road. It comes from the running game, being able to smash between the tackles and smash the defense. And right now we can't do that. So that's been my concern for the last couple of weeks, that we can't run the ball on the road. And we couldn't even run it at home now. So it's like, okay, so what's going to happen? How are we going to resolve this? And we need to resolve it immediately. We need to resolve this immediately, because if we the second seed, we're going to play 2 games at home. We win those 2 games, then we have to go on the road. That's the NFC Championship game. So we have to do something about the running game. But I love the physicality. Super Lamb did his thing. I love Super Lamb. Him and Dad has a great connection right now. We have to keep it moving. But my only concern right now is we have to fix the running game. We have to fix that. We got to fix it. We have to. Because if we fix the running game, I have a feeling that Mike McCarthy's time management may be better if we had a running game. That's one thing that stood out too. Like, maybe if we had a better running game to close out games, maybe Mike McCarthy's time management may be a little bit better. I don't know. It's just a thought. But, hey, just as long as we can run the ball on the road, get that physicality back, we can actually have success on the road. We just have to have that physicality on the road like we do at home.
So I'm a comment on Kevin's comment here. He said if Dak and the team make those plays, no one would have questioned McCarthy's play calling. I still would have questioned his play calling, Kevin,
Exactly.
for the simple fact that if you throw the ball, it's a 50-50 chance of whether you're going to stop the clock or not.
Exactly.
If you run the ball, the clock keeps going, and you have to make them use their timeouts. Detroit had already used their timeouts. We could have knocked another 40, minimum of 40 seconds off the clock.
No, they had one timeout left.
Okay. They had one timeout. We could have made them use that one timeout, and we could have knocked at least another 40 seconds off the clock.
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of ifs there.
Right.
If they would have called tripping on the right player, then we wouldn't have had the discussion here. If CD wouldn't have fumbled the ball out of the end zone, we wouldn't have this discussion. There's a lot of ifs. But the fact of the matter is, time management, and I don't even, it's just not us saying this. It's a lot of analysts that said the same thing.
Yeah.
Why Troy and them even said it during the game. Why are we running the ball? We got the ball with like a minute and 50-something seconds left, and we only knocked off 14 seconds to give Detroit enough time with 0 timeouts to take the ball all the way down the field.
A minute and 43 seconds with 1 timeout. That's what we gave them back.
Yeah.
Too much time.
Yeah.
Way too much time
and too much cushion.
Too much time. And then they had 1 timeout left. So from what I heard from Mike McCarthy today, when he kind of spoke a little bit, he thought he was under the impression that the Lions didn't have any more timeouts. So I'm like, okay, where's your communication coming from? Because he was under the impression that the Lions didn't have any more timeouts. It didn't matter. And at the end of the day, it still don't matter if they didn't. Why are you still throwing the ball? That's all more reason for you not to be throwing the ball. So even if you did think that they had no more timeouts left, why were you passing the ball? And why would you have Dak throw the ball out of bounds and stop the clock? Like, that's stupid to me. So again, not being aware.
Like Kevin said, like I said, make the plays. Nothing is mentioned, incomplete, and it's a topic of conversation. So even before the pass was thrown, and I saw that Dak was going to throw it, I still said, I think a lot of people still said, run the ball. I mean, Kevin, I'm not trying to insult I don't want to insult your knowledge of football, your coaching skills, this and another. But I guarantee you 95% of the coaches in that situation, at the end of the game, you got to lead. Time is running down. The other team has limited time on the clock and limited timeouts. Everybody is going to run the ball.
Yep.
So James says Dak has to be held accountable. He should know better, audible to call.
That's also true. That's a great point too.
That's a great point. It's a great point.
That's a great point too.
It's a great point.
It's a great point.
I'm not going to take that away from that. However, we didn't have a running game the whole game. I mean, let me look up the stats.
Yeah, I got them for you. What were 61 yards? We had 61 yards rushing, 2.9 yards a carry with 21 attempts.
How many yards a carry?
2.9. 2.9.
So 3 yards, less than 3 yards a carry.
Right.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, time management, and I'm just gonna say in my opinion, time management was horrible in the end of the game. And there were some stretches in the game where I thought that play calling was a little suspect also. On the flip side of that, Dak threw that interception. I think he was forcing it to Lamb.
Yeah.
Because Gallup was on a crossing route that play, and we didn't get it to him. However, Gallup has not been a factor in the game. So you got to go to who you got to go to. You got to go to your hot guy, and CD right now is a hot guy.
Scorching hot.
Yeah,
he's scorching hot.
And I told Drew, I was watching the game with Drew, and he told me to make sure I give defense some credit. The defense played a hell of a game until that last drive.
Oh, Lord. Too much cushion, man. Too much cushion.
Prevent defense.
Too much cushion. Oh, my God.
Prevent defense does exactly that. Prevent you from winning.
So Frankie said, yes, we were forcing it to Lamb at one point. I think that had a lot to do with the record. I could see that. I still need to see what we do in the playoffs before I get too excited again, because I've seen this movie before, so I know how it would end.
I get that.
I don't
understand, but I'm more
I understand, but I don't know how this is going to end. I really don't. Just like the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, nobody expected them to win the Super Bowl. The year the last time the Giants won the Super Bowl, they went up against the Patriots team that had 19-0. Nobody expected them to win the Super Bowl. So, let's see here. So James, Mr. Reese, we will try to get you on here one day. I can't do it today because we have a lot to talk about, but we will talk about it to get you on here one day. Probably next week if we can. Let's see here. I'm just reading comments here. DeMarcus Lawrence is an underrated run stopper, having Parsons linebacker help stop the run. Lawrence actually had a hell of a game.
Lawrence been having a hell of a game the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
He stops the run better than any defensive end in the NFL. That's what he does.
But they moved him to tackle when he was making those when he made those plays, he had moved to tackle. A lot of those plays he had moved to tackle. They had Smith on the end. Yeah. So yeah. I don't think that James wants to come on here to bash Dak, Frankie. I don't think that he wants to do that.
Nobody can bash Dak right now anyway. It's either him or Lamar MVP anyway, so you can't really bash Dak. Even if you wanted to, you have no merit, you have no grounds. So it is what it is right now. Any fan who bashes Dak right now got personal issues and need a therapist. That's it. Because he is balling. He's balling. I don't think he's going to win MVP from Lamar because Lamar has a better road record, but he's balling. He's balling. He's taking control of the game, taking control of the locker room. We just need him to call audibles and run the ball in certain situations. That's the only thing we need. That's it. We need to run the clock. That was it. That's all we need, though. I don't know how we fix it, though, y'all. I don't know how we fix it. I know Delvin Cook is basically a free agent, but I don't know. He fumbles the ball a lot.
That's the thing. Lamar has a running game.
Yeah.
But Lamar is a runner.
Yeah.
He is the running game. He had the most rushing yards on the team.
Yeah, but he got 3 backs, though, too. He has 3 backs.
Yeah, but he's also a runner himself.
And didn't 2 of his backs get 1,000 yards?
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't even looked it all the way. I think so, though.
They're explosive, though. They're explosive. He's like a cheat code.
They real good backs, though. I think so. Let me look. I think so.
But Baltimore. Okay, it said no. Gus at 767. Okay. So Frankie says, "What do I think about picking up Dalvin Cook?" So he said he's going to restructure his contract to get with a contender.
He did already.
So I mean, we just got to see. I wouldn't have no problem with him coming in as a veteran. But as Kenyatta said, he's can't have fumbleitis.
No, he can't. We can't have that. We can't have fumbles. Not in the playoffs.
So overall, my take on this game is that it was a hard fought game. It was a playoff atmosphere. We did what we had to do to win the game. However, if we don't fix our running game, it's gonna make it harder on us. I like how Dak is playing. I like some of his decision making. I think on some of those passes that he's overthrowing Cook, I think he needs to put a little more air under the ball and let Cook run up under it versus trying to have Cook versus him overthrowing it. But I understand why he's doing it. He doesn't want to throw that pick. He's stretching the field. He's opening up the field. That's something that he hasn't done. He didn't do any of that last year. So my take on the game is that I think this game is going to mentally prepare us going into this last week against Washington. This game against Washington is not going to be an easy game. This Washington, those players know that this is their last game of the year. Ron Rivera, his coach, is saying this is probably the last time I'm going to coach. So they're going to do anything that they can do. Just like the Lions came up with trick play that they came up with the fake punt and then the trick play, to call himself doing the trick play at the end of the game. I think that that was a playoff atmosphere of the game. And Nikki, you was at the game. Is that what you felt?
Oh yeah, like that wasn't. It was intense, especially sort in the end. That was a very very intense game, and it was just like them 23 seconds would never leave the clock. I was just like, this is the longest 23 seconds ever in life. I was just like, I
I know what
can't
she
take
feeling.
this.
She right.
I was like, I can't take it. I can't take it. I was like, oh my God. And it takes my friend Debbie to tell a story. She was tell a story. We was standing up at the rails, cause I was in the tunnel, and we was waiting, standing so when the players come through, we can see the players, read the players, whatever. And I was in the front, and when that happened with that, I was just like, I said, excuse me, I gotta move, I gotta walk away, just move, get out the way. So they was like, Candy, where you going? I said, babe, I gotta go find a prayer closet. so, David, I came back and shit. I came back like right when, and David said, well, who knew that somebody that made a prayer closet at AT&T Stadium? It was crazy, like it was crazy. You seen people pacing the floor. They had one guy, he was like, oh God, I forgot, I almost lit up my cigarette. It was crazy. Like everybody in the stands was standing up. Nobody was sitting down. That was like, yeah, that was the feel of a playoff game. That, like, oh my God. Like I think that was like one of the most intense games that we have had all season at home, because we pretty much blew teams out at home,
Except Seattle though.
What's up that Seattle game, but it wasn't even as intense
really
as this game was. I think it was the pressure of keeping a perfect home win, not losing in front of Jimmy Johnson. It was all, and then you had so many other greats there. So it was the principle of not losing in front of Jimmy Johnson in a night that was so big for Cowboy fans. So it was just the pressure. It was just the intense. It was just like, oh my God. Because the guy I was standing by, I kept saying, and I said, okay, all we need is defense to win the game. Now we need defense to shut the game down. And when Donovan Wilson got the interception, I was like, that's it.
Game over, right?
That's it. That should have ended the game. That should have been what we actually won from. So when, we kicked the ball back to when they kicked the ball back to Detroit, and then on that very first drive, and Jared Goff got the ball to the 40-yard line, you could just hear the air go out the stadium. Like, are you serious? Then we was like, okay, don't panic, don't get down. Let's this gonna tell us what type of team we dealing with. That moment, that built character for them. That built the type of heart they had for them. That moment. I was like, this moment right here is gonna tell us all about this team. Gonna tell us all about what we meant to do and how we built and how we ready for a playoff season. Just this moment right here gonna tell us that. So they answered. Wasn't the way I wanted it. I mean, and I know we're gonna get to the penalty. We're gonna get to the controversy. Um, but it was just different. It was just a different type of game. If any game y'all would have wanted y'all to be at, that's the one I would have wanted y'all to be at.
So my take on the last 23 seconds.
That was ridiculous.
I'm like Will. It felt like 20 minutes.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it probably was actually those 23 seconds was probably a natural 10 to 15 minutes if you really think about it. I kept saying to myself, this is Miami all over again. Everybody complains that Dak can't go down and score. He folds in crunch time. He can't go down and put us ahead toward the end of the game. And then the defense gives up a touchdown or a score. They can't make a stop.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the play, when I saw and then we can get into the actual penalty part. When I saw the 2-point conversion, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And then I saw the flag. I was thinking the flag was going to be on us.
Me too.
I thought it was going to be on us.
Yep.
Because they took so long to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me take that back.
The first flag came out. It was an interception, remember? So we thought they thought it was done. Then that's when we saw the flag. And that's when it was Michael Parsons outsides. I was like, oh my God.
Well, we shouldn't even got to that point.
But we shouldn't have got to that point. We should not have even gotten to that point.
That tripping penalty was like a makeup. This whole thing with, illegal man this, legal man that was a makeup call, first of all, because there should have never been a tripping penalty.
Nope.
There never should have been a tripping penalty. I hate when these refs do that, though.
And it was on the wrong player. But it was either way, even if it was tripping, it wasn't the correct player. It wasn't.
And that was a problem because it wasn't the correct player. That was the problem. That would have been first and goal. First and goal, they had one time out left. We could have ran the clock out. Then there would be no controversy whatsoever.
None.
With the referees, man, these referees something else. See, Nick, you called them and they said, we're going to get Nikki back. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get Nikki back. You called them, they said, we're going to get Nikki back.
Or Nikki called us, and now we got the controversy.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, Nikki, you will stop. Ain't no bad thing as bad publicity, Nikki. You will stop.
So I'm going to say what the referees did get wrong. They did get wrong on his actual call. If 68 checked in and he caught the ball, and then he also said that 70 checked in as an eligible receiver, then the penalty should be called illegal formation, not illegal touching. Because 70 was covered up by 58 and the wide receiver. 68, the receiver was, 68 was a blade of grass behind 58, or the receiver was a blade of grass behind 68 who caught the ball. So in actuality, if the ref would have called illegal formation, then I think people would have been a little bit more, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to call illegal touching, I think that is where the controversy. He caused his own controversy, so to speak.
You know why? Because he called out 70. Because he called out 70 and the ball went to 68. They had 3 tackles walk over to the referees to try to, confuse the Cowboys, and they actually confused the refs. And that's what happened. You call 70, but 68 gets the ball. What? He was like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
From the formation that they ran, it was not, like I said, it wasn't illegal touching. However, and everybody's going to have their opinion on that. So let me just say this right now. Everybody's going to have their opinion on this, so forth and on, on the situation. But I talked to a lot of referees after that game about how would they react if 3 offensive linemen walked up to them to report. And every ref that I talked to, and they weren't Cowboy fans. 0 refs that I talked to were Cowboy, except for one. Let me take that back. One was. 2 were. But all the rest of them said, 3 offensive linemen walk up to me, and I'm going to use the word assume. I'm going to assume that these guys are coming to report to me as being eligible. And let's say that 2 of them come up to me, and one of them tell me they're eligible, and then a third one runs out there late. If he's running towards me and not towards the huddle, then I'm going to assume that he's reporting eligible.
Question: what if they rub their chest? Because now they're supposed to rub their chest and let you know that they're eligible as well by rubbing their chest. I read too. That's another indication of basically, who's eligible and who's not.
Yeah.
68 did that on the way over to the ref.
Yeah.
He just did it with one hand. He was like, hey. He's like, they're trying to be coy, right?
70 did it too, though. 70 did it too. 70 did it too.
I didn't see 70 do it.
70 did it as well. Yeah, man.
I don't know. There's a lot there, and I know Sean's kind of touched on it. One thing I'll add to that, so that ref apparently in the pregame meetings with the Lions, the head ref was not around, right? So the coaches will say, hey, these are the potential trick plays, if you will, or whatever, that we could potentially run today, just to give you a heads up, right? So you're aware of this ahead of the fact, not like we're just going to spring it on you so you can be like, what? Apparently the head ref was not there, and somebody else was when Dan Campbell went over that play, and maybe or maybe not that information was passed. I don't know. It's not an excuse, right? I think, like Sean said, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different angles that you can look at this. The ref was wrong. The Lions were wrong. There wasn't anything that Dallas did in that play that was wrong. Just point blank. So.
And I didn't hear the referee announce over the headset 68 being eligible. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah. He did 70. He said 70.
So when he said the word 70, exactly as Jeff said, the Cowboys focused on number 70.
Yeah.
So I don't like the narrative of people saying that people cheat, whether it be refs or teams in situations like that, because people make mistakes. And as I said before, as I always try to say, 8 people can't watch 100 yards. That's why they have instant replay. Lastly, the only reason why I blame Detroit for what happened is because everybody and their mother heard 70 is reporting as eligible.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions coach could have turned to the Lion judge on his side and said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not it. That's not the person who, you know,
Right.
and that ref would have he would have communicated it. They would have stopped the play as an official timeout because all he had to do was say, "Hey, no, that's not who's reporting eligible." Now, what have happened was it would have alerted Dallas even more so that 68 was eligible because they had an unbalanced line, which they had a tight end, a guard, and then a center, versus having a tackle, tight end, guard, center. So it would have alerted Dallas even more so that number 68 was an eligible receiver. And I'm like you, Jeff, and everybody else, and Frankie, and those who have commented on here. The refs 100% got it wrong, especially by saying it was illegal touching. Because if anybody who knows football knows that was not the right call. But for them to announce that 70 was an eligible receiver, that's where Dallas's who was a safety over the top then? Was it Wilson that was over the top? And they said that he covered 70?
Wilson and Lewis, I believe.
Lewis. Mm-hmm.
It was both of them.
It was Wilson and Lewis.
Okay. So I'm not the thing of it is a win is a win. Can't nobody change it now. I mean, it is what it is. A win is a win, and you can't change it.
Only one person can.
And he's not going to do it. He's not going to do
it. That precedent will not be set. I'm sorry.
Not today.
No, they're not going to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Only one person can do it, and it's Roger Goodell, and that ain't happening.
Exactly.
Because if you're going to change that game, it's a whole bunch of games we can go back and change.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to set that precedent and say, I'm going to do it now, because then every week somebody's going to be like, oh, let's change the outcome. Like, it is what it is. They've already made their adjustment, which was demoting those guys. Which
they can't play. They can't call games for playoffs, but they calling the game Saturday.
But they're calling
a major game on Saturday too.
Yeah, but they calling the Steelers and Ravens game Saturday.
But I will tell you also too, the one thing that is definitely going to spark is the discussion about full-time referees again.
Yeah,
because it's already begun, and we talked about that last week, did we not?
Yeah, we did.
So Joseph asked, how many players are allowed to report at one time? So you have 5 eligible receivers. You can have 5 players report that don't have an official number. You can have 5 players come and report as eligible that don't have the correct, receiving or eligible receiver numbers. So you can have up to 5 that report.
Yeah, but don't the referee has to announce those eligible?
He has to announce them, though, yeah.
Every last one of them, too.
Yes, they have to be announced.
I think it's less on number and more on alignment, right? Especially with the way that the NFL has numbering now, where Calvin Ridley is a 0. That's not a typical, right? And not just to say 0, right? But low numbers, not 80s like we would expect to see from wide receivers. I think it's more alignment and how it goes, like you said, Sean, from center guard, tackle, etc. on the outside.
Yeah. So for those who don't understand, like a lot of people were saying that 68 was covered up. He wasn't covered up. In the NFL, as long as he's one step behind the closest inside receiver or tackle, he's considered off the ball. It's not like it is in high school and others where they have to be almost a full yard off. In the pros, they have a saying: if he's a blade of grass behind, and he signals to the ref and puts his arm back to show that he's off line of scrimmage, then he is. Generally, it's kind of hard to get a ineligible receiver downfield because of an alignment in the NFL, because they line up so close. My only thing was, and I will say this, you know, the referees have to take accountability for what they did or didn't do. But I was glad that Dan Campbell took accountability for what he said was, yes, I was trying to confuse the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know, so and all in all, was it an effed up play or effed up result? Yes, you know, it was. But at the end of the day, somebody had to win that game. And it just so happened to be the Cowboys. You know, so it is what it is.
I mean, I just looked at they owed us for all the times they called bad plays.
Yeah, they haven't called holding on the offensive line with Parsons
they don't call holding on Michael
ever,
Parsons, so maybe I just feel like they made up for all the time they ain't called holding on Michael Parsons. I ain't mad. I mean, I don't care. I was like,
so
it is what it is.
so
We
yeah,
get bad calls all the time.
Yeah. So let me go back and put some of these comments up because I was talking. And
hey, they could have kicked the extra point.
Right? They could have just kicked
done that too.
Extra point, went to overtime. The Lions failed to people not even realizing that Jeff Goff threw 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 fourth down stops. Then you get in the end zone, kick the field goal, kick the extra point, and take it to overtime. I think they were afraid to go to overtime. They were afraid to, and I get the mentality, let's just win it. I get it. But sometimes you have to think like, you know what? Anything could happen with this. So let's just take this game to overtime. You know, sometimes you can't be so greedy to do something at one moment.
Yeah, but that's his mentality. His players love that.
Right.
He has the most fourth down, you know, going for it on fourth down percentage than any other coach, and that's his. He's one of those people that don't care about. Yeah.
More than Philly
3 times against us in a game.
Yes,
he went to.
Wow.
He did it. Yeah,
he did it 3 times.
I mean, I knew he was aggressive, but damn, I didn't
he's
know
very
he was
aggressive.
Yeah.
He's aggressive. He believes in his team. He believes in
and
his
that's
team.
okay. But sometimes you have to think though. But sometimes you have to you have to think with a different mindset. Sometimes when it's different things riding on that game. You know what I'm saying?
I got nothing to say on that.
You know,
oh Lord.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll talk. We'll get to you guys in a minute.
I can't wait to go on mute.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. But no, that's just who he is, though. That's his. Yeah. He's always been like this.
Right. That's his mentality.
Yeah.
Don't he come from Belichick tree as well?
I don't know.
He didn't come from the Belichick tree.
He hasn't been coaching that long.
No.
He was a tight end.
Right.
He played for Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. That's what we said, and Ange, that had they not called the wrong player for tripping, that wouldn't have never happened to begin with.
That was crazy too. I said, "Come on now." I was cursing him to shut out, boy. I was like, "Come on, not again."
Oh, I was too.
I was cursing him. I was like, "Yo, dude, we right here. What are you doing?"
Right.
I was going off until I saw the snapshots too. But you know, like I said, you got to give it to Dan. You got to give it to Campbell. He had big balls,
and he took accountability.
Went for it, and they almost won the game. Yeah. If it wasn't a screw up, then they would have won the game. Everybody would have been praising him. We've been on here now talking about we wish Mike McCarthy would do stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. Hee hee ha ha, and all the other good stuff. But it didn't happen that way. I don't like the narratives of people saying that the Cowboys cheated. The Cowboys did not make this blunder. The Cowboys may have benefited from the blunder,
but we didn't make
the blunder. Right. If Jerry Jones, I hate that part about Jerry Jones paying. If Jerry Jones could pay the refs, we'd have 15 Super Bowls by now.
20.
We would never lose. We would never lose in the playoffs if he could pay. Ever. If he could pay the refs.
Dad's caught it.
The NFL makes plenty of money off the Cowboys, whether we're winning 12 games in the season or we're winning 5 games in the season. You know, so it is what it is. We just have, and to win a Super Bowl, you got to play good. You got to have a team that's kind of healthy, and you got to have a little luck.
We were lucky and good. I'll take it every day.
Yeah, and we have not been on the receiving end of any luck anytime, lately. So, okay, Herb D says, yes, that's right. He was an assistant in New Orleans and Miami. I remember him in Miami.
And I like CeeDee Lamb's response as well about the fumble. He didn't blame anyone. He took accountability for it. And he said, no, the rule doesn't need to change. I need to hold on to the ball.
Thank you.
I need to make sure I score before the ball come out of my hand. He took full responsibility for it. So that's a sign of maturity. That's showing you that this whole team is moving in the right direction with the sign of maturity. So if Mike McCarthy haven't brought anything else to this team, he has brought that to the team. Because I remember times when we probably had this team when we had Jason Garrett and all of them. They wouldn't be speaking like this. They wouldn't be, acting like this. I think half of the whole dang on team was always getting in trouble when Jason Garrett was here.
Yeah.
So we see that. I do see the difference in the players' mentality and how they're handling things, and I do see how Mike McCarthy has brought some structure to the players and to the team. I even like how he told them, you have the weekend off, it's the holiday, go enjoy your time, but I don't want to get no phone calls that anyone is in trouble, because it was going to be a problem. I like that.
So Kevin, they ran what we call an unbalanced line. It doesn't matter where they line up at, as long as the player, you can have a center and an eligible receiver next to the center on one side of the ball, as long as the rest of the linemen are, as long as he's not covered up. So you can have a receiver who stepped back. You can have a tight end, which number 68 was a tight end. And then you can have a center. Look at the swinging gate plays. Go on YouTube and look up swinging gate, and you'll see everybody line up to one side, and you'll see a center and somebody standing next to the center and a receiver off to the side, and they'll end up throwing the ball to the guy that's next to the center. So that's So it was definitely would have been illegal formation.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anything, it was definitely illegal formation.
Hey, at least we cut down on the penalties. We're gonna have 5 penalties.
I did talk about that. Yeah, penalties was not as bad.
I was happy about that at least.
But we still got a penalty in the wrong time. We got Michael Parsons got a outside penalty at the wrong time. So if the controversy didn't happen, we had an interception that actually would have ended the game. But Michael Parsons got an outside penalty, which gave him a first set of downs. So those are still small things like that we still just cannot do.
Well, that wasn't even downs. That was an untimed down, because that was an extra point.
Wait a minute. So we got to do something about Tolbert on these special teams. That's 2 games where the wide receivers left him in the dust on 4th down when they punted the ball and they got first down. That's 2 games.
Yeah, I just saw that. And
what's
if you
up
notice,
with that? That's
they
2 games.
They took him off for the rest of the punt. He didn't play anymore as a DB on a gunner.
Yeah.
Well, he can't do that. That's 2 games though. That's 2 games.
They did it 2 games in a row. They did it. Yeah. They did it in Miami, and they did it. Yeah.
He can't do that anymore. He can't. Yo, what is he doing? You got to understand. Don't leave. Stay right there.
Teams.
They scout this
good. Yeah, they see it
on film.
So yeah, I look. Yeah, the very next punt that Detroit did, they had 2 DBs out there. So, all right. So we have to give our brother a chance to talk about his yeah.
It's a short talk. It's a short talk.
It's a short talk.
No, but
so
I will go back and say one thing, right? I gotta applaud MCDC for being as aggressive as he was, right? Feast or famine in that situation, right? He said, "We're going for two," and he never went away from that. So I got to give him credit for that, for having faith in his team, regardless of the situation, whether it was illegal formation, illegal touching, or whatever. And then, like Nikki said, the offside that was unfortunate. Then the last play, I mean, it's just the route wasn't run
Deep
properly,
enough.
right?
Right.
He was shallow, and that ended up costing him the game. It is what it is, right? But before we even talk about my game, have you guys spoken about that fumble outside the end zone rule? Because I tell you, bro, I had many a conversation with folks on the Twitterverse or the Xverse, whatever you want to call it now, about that rule. And I know some people say here don't change it. Um, and I know somebody said, if you change that rule, you got to change the safety rule. And essentially that's what I boiled down my arguments with two people. They were saying if you fumble out of the end zone or you fumble whatever, you move them back to the 20, lost it down, and you go again. But why? Right? They're like, well, if you fumble anywhere else on the field and it goes out of bounds, you retain the ball. Okay. So what's the difference between that green spot, right? That's in the 100 yards of the field, and then what's on the opposite side of that 6-inch white line that tends to be covered in paint. A lot of things change, right? So you can't just say, oh, we'll just do, lost it down and move it back 20 yards. No, you fumbled the ball out of the end zone. It's a touchback.
Right.
Same as if you were on offense and you fumbled the ball out your defensive end zone. It's a safety. And it's 2 points. So I get what people were saying. And so that's what I was like, cool. So if you're saying that a tackle out in the middle of the field or a fumble out in the middle of the field is the difference between that and fumbling through the end zone, then a tackle in the middle of the field is no different than a tackle in the end zone. Right? And people didn't like that. I wanted to put that out there because that's been bugging me all weekend about that. And like I said in the chat, guys, like he was reaching forward and he lost control of the ball. You guys said it. It is what it is. It happened against us not that long ago, right? Same kind of thing. But I digress.
Yeah, that happened. That happened when we played the Raiders a couple years ago, and he knocked the ball out of bounds. So it is what it is. They're not going to change the rules.
It is.
Just hold on
Yeah.
to the ball. Just hold on to the ball.
That's
Exactly.
it. You just gotta hold on to the ball.
And I for one, I was thinking, I said, oh my God, we about to. We had a fumble last week in the first quarter that came back to bite us. We about to have another one that's going to come back to bite us.
Right.
And so luckily it didn't. Dan Campbell, if you're listening to this or you get this message, thank you for being an aggressive coach. We really appreciate that. Thank you for not being an analytical coach, because an analytical coach would have kicked the extra point, and we still probably will be playing right now.
On the second play.
He said
On the
analytics
second
is
play,
what
too.
told him to go for it. So he said analytics is what told him to do it.
All
So
three times?
He is big on analytics.
Yo, that's it. That's who he is. He's a gambler. That's what he does.
He's big on
He's
analytics.
So you move back 5 yards, and analytics still told you to go for 2.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Nope.
Me neither.
It makes zero sense to me.
Okay.
Sometimes these coaches, they try to get they try to get cute. They try to get real fancy, real cute, because it don't work for them probably in other games and prior games or prior things. So they thinking that in their mind that they can do it again. So they try to get, sometimes they get too cute for their own good, and they outsmart and outplay themselves. And that's, to me, this is what happened with that situation. They tried to do foolery, they tried to do trickery, and they got tricked. They ended up, it came back to, it backfired on them. Simple as that. So, like I said again, We moving on to Washington, and they need to move on to the Vikings. It's in the books.
See,
It's a wrap.
It's
It's
all
over.
good.
If we see y'all again, maybe we'll see y'all in the playoffs again, and y'all might have another chance to try to come in and redeem yourself. But as of right now, it's an L to the Dallas Cowboys, and it's a wrap. It is what it is.
Yeah. After this show, I'm done discussing it. You know, I had to discuss it on this show because this
Right.
is what we do. But after this show, you know, I can see both sides of the.
I could see it.
I can see both sides of the spectrum. If this would have happened to us, regardless of my referee hat or not, I would have figured out some way to say, hey, we could have did this and that and other.
Right.
However, it didn't. And even while I sat there and I watched it, I picked that referee apart while that play was going on, and I said he was wrong in the explanation of the call. And if everybody noticed, there were two flags. There was a first flag for illegal formation, and then one for illegal touching. So there were two flags. He just announced the wrong one.
He should have announced both of them. He would be in the clear right now if he announced both of them.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Right. But he only announced the one.
Damn.
Yeah. And I've saw this a couple of times. That tripping call, we talked about it. It didn't get called. You know.
Well, it got called, but it got called on the wrong.
On the wrong person. Yeah.
On the wrong player.
But what could we have done about
it? There's nothing we can do
none,
about it.
None of us would have known about that tripping call, that it was the
we
wrong player.
We saw the slow tape.
Yeah, until you saw the slow tape. But during the game, none of us would have known that. I'm like you, K Boogie. I was cussing, oh boy.
I was cursing Hendershot out like
we all was. Even live at the game. Everybody was like, he just come back and he already, I'm sick of him. You know, you know, of course, I was the ringleader. I take that.
I'm telling y'all, we're gonna be watching the game one day, and we're gonna see Nikki ass on the 50-yard line.
I was almost there. I was almost there.
Lord.
I was almost there. I was like, Debbie was like, girl, don't you go on that sideline. I was almost there. But it was great. I mean, at the end, it played out like it did. Most important for me, I had a chance to see my boo. So,
which one?
Oh, y'all don't do that, y'all. Don't act like that. Don't be acting like that. Don't be doing that. I'm trying to put me on blast like that.
All right.
My forever boo, Dez Bryant.
Oh yeah, you took a picture with him. That's right.
Yeah, you took a picture. Then you had somebody take a picture of him with y'all from the side. Yeah, we saw y'all photo shoot.
You doing two guys? You like see? We're ready to hear from you, Jeff. We're ready to hear from you, Jeff. They going too far.
We saw you wear a photo. Dez in the building.
She said pivot. Oh man, you know. So I know Sean Book. I know you were talking about the two flags. You know why they didn't call both flags?
Because they usually do it though. They usually call
because it's 5 and 15, and the implications on that would have been too great. So, given what we know about that ref, right? If he had said, "Hey, we got a 5-yard penalty and a 15-yard penalty," obviously we're going to take the more severe one. Whoo, boy, they wanted to keep it close. You already know. You already know. Come on.
Right.
So can I throw a shot at y'all real quick, Jeff, before you go, and then I'm done?
Send it.
So a lot of people are complaining about this ref, but isn't this the same ref that y'all had 0 penalties in the game
against Miami?
Against Miami
ref?
I mean, we're not going to go back and rehash 0, right? We're not going to go back and rehash 0 because there were plenty of calls.
A little reminder.
Okay. Yeah, it was just
asking.
I can find the graphic. I can find the graphic. No, it wasn't 0 for Philly. There were other penalties that were called against us. There was just no large ones. There was like false starts and offsides and stuff like that, but like no
Mm.
punitive.
I could have sworn y'all had zero
Right?
penalties that
But
game.
They didn't have no
everybody said
penalties.
that. I have the graphics saved somewhere.
Okay.
I'll pull it up and I'll send it to the group or whatever.
Okay. Well, then,
But
Mm.
to answer your question, yes, that dude is one and the same.
okay. Well, if I've reported that you guys had 0 penalties in the game and y'all had a penalty, then I apologize.
But I mean, the way it ended up, the way that game ended up, right? It helped us. So maybe he helped us again. I don't know. It to the best of his ability, he helped us. But what's my limitations on language? Where we at?
You know what?
We're at the end of the year. Say how you feel. Just
We're
say
at
it.
the beginning.
You being a Philly fan right now, go for it.
Man, we fucked ourselves on that one.
Damn.
Yeah. We fucked ourselves. I hope all of you have seen the Lord Brunson tweet where he's kind of just digging in. If you haven't, I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat. Buddy went in, right? And it's too NSFW for here, right? But yeah, man, no, that game is the third that I've seen this year in the losses that we've taken where we were leading until the last 2 minutes of the game. And we ultimately shit the bed. Again, it happened with New York. It happened with Seattle. And then it happened again with Arizona. And that was I'm really trying to tame it back because I really just kind of want to go off. But I mean, bro, that was so putrid. It was so bad. Like this team has severe problems, right? And I know everybody's talking about the AJ Brown thing, like AJ Brown's not talking and the locker room is fractured. AJ Brown not talking is not fracturing the locker room. AJ Brown is probably taking the high road and not speaking on exactly what the rest of us who understand exactly what's going on is the problem, right? And that's the head coach, right? We said that last week. I talked about it last week when we were talking about Sirianni said, this is my playbook. Brian Johnson deserves no fault because I give him the plays. He calls them in the situations that I give him, right? That's where we are.
Yeah. So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So why would you run that wide receiver screen to was it Gainesville? What's his name? Gainwell versus a big receiver like Brown.
I don't know. Same reason why last week we ran that shit to Dallas Goedert with Devontae Smith also running the block. Like, why would you have a 170-pound wide receiver blocking for a 240-pound tight end? Scott, I'm sorry, but what the fuck sense does that make? Seriously. Like, bro, this play calling has been so abhorrent all year. I said it. I don't know if I put it in the chat or I put it into another one. 2021, right? We were a 9-win team. We went to Tampa and we lost in the first round of the playoffs. 2022, we were the same damn team until Shane Steichen took over the play calling. Then we went on a Super Bowl run, right? 2023, Sirianni's got the playbook again. We are the same damn team that we were in 21 and the early part of 2022. This is all on Sirianni, and it's his fucking ego. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to do it, man, but I'm so pissed off at all this. It is his fucking ego that is costing this team. That's why we've lost 4 of 5 in the last 5, right? And in the month of December. It's tragic. And the bad part is it's not all even on the offense because the offense is still the top 10 offense in the league. Shockingly, it's the defense that is absolute dumpster juice.
221 yards rushing y'all gave up.
I mean, I know it was
yards a carry. That was
102. Yeah, it was 126 to James Conner. And James Conner's a thumper. He was when he was in Pittsburgh, right? I know that. And I know Gannon kind of took the high road after the thing, not gloating or whatever, but I mean, we're what 31st in yards per game over since December. We're 27th in points per game surrendered since December. We're last in the league in third downs. I mean, this defense, with the amount of talent that we have, this is absolute trash, right? The defensive line does not run stunts. They just run straight forward. The cornerbacks are playing 8-9 yards off on a 3rd and 5. And you're still backpedaling? Why? Why are you doing this? And I get, they said that Matt Patricia couldn't install a new defense this point of the season against what Sean Desai had installed earlier. He just had to adjust some of the schemes and make things a little different. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing nothing. Right? You got Shaq Leonard, right, who was saying that he wanted to make a name for himself. Obviously came to Dallas and tried out there, came to Philly, tried out there, and ultimately he signed with us. Right? Dude's crowding the line, and before the snap even happens, he's bailing. Can you be more telepathic on what you're doing? Can we be more vanilla in the coverages that we're giving you? We don't adjust the post-snap motion, pre-snap motion, none of that? Are you serious? This team has way too much talent to be doing that. I don't think switching to Patricia was the issue, honestly. I think it was probably the right thing to do because it was only getting worse, right? But again, it's switching to Patricia, but Patricia's still running this size defense with minimal adjustments. And again, it was the same thing with Gannon. It was the same thing with Jim Shorts, who's over in Cleveland now, right? He ran that picket fence defense, and everybody plays soft on 3rd down. Nobody plays man press when you're 6 and less. Why would you do that? Why would you play 8 to 9 yards off the ball when it's 6 or less? You need to play man press. Anybody who studies defense, anybody who understands the game, understands that, right? It's simple. It's simple. People say, the offense is high school, right? That's straight out of the Madden playbook, right? And the defense is peewee. It's not good. It's not good at all, right? I'm gonna shift back because the defense there's no help with the defense, right? Our defense is done, right? Bradbury, we got to find a way to eat all that cat money and just send Trashberry moving, right? He's terrible, absolutely terrible. Why we signed him to 3 years, $38 million instead of paying CJ, I'll never know, right? I'll never understand that situation, except for maybe that was a spite signing by Howie Roseman. Which, if that's the case, that's a bad move, Howie. That's a bad move. You deserve your pee-pee slap for that one, right? But to go back to the offense, right? So I'm looking at something that Brian Johnson said, right? So we talked about the injuries, right? Oh, by the way, Avonte Maddox just came back off the torn pec, already injured again, holding his pec. We don't know what the injury is yet. We'll probably find out tomorrow. We don't know whether or not he's going to play or not again. Everybody saw Devontae Smith walking out the game in crutches and a boot, but we hear it's a mild ankle sprain. I know, Boog, you said it was precautionary, right? I don't know. I don't know. That don't fly with me, right? But the whole play calling leading up to that, right? First down, you run a QB draw and you get 4 yards. Second down, I'm not sure exactly what the call was, but it ended up it's not a draw, right? It was a QB run, right? It was an off tackle run for -4. So now you're back to 3rd and 20. You got to call a timeout because you can't get the play in. Oh, not to mention you couldn't get the play in to begin with, right? When Stoll and Stoll and somebody else was running off the field at the same time. But then on 3rd down, you're going to call 3rd and 20, and you're going to call second running back screen with a 170-pound Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver as your blocker, your lead blocker, right? And anybody who watches these games, what Philly does, 3rd and long, what do? We're going to do one of two things. We're going to run a QB draw or we're going to run a fucking screen, right? That's it. That is it. And you still ran it, and you got caught on it, right? You didn't gain any yards, and you got your wide receiver rolled up on, right? But a number 2 wide receiver, like,
Well,
So how would you fix it?
what
though,
are you
Jeff?
doing?
How would you fix this issue on offense? What would you do? How would you correct it?
Brian Johnson, go back to being a quarterback coach and work with the quarterback on those mechanics, right? Keep Buddy inside the pocket and stop letting him run left and right. He needs to run north and south in the pocket, right? He has been escaping the pocket so quickly, so unnecessarily all year that now it's come back to bite us, right? And you bring in somebody who's an offensive coordinator who's not going to be a puppet to Nick Sirianni, and you tell him, hey man, stand there and be a motivational face. Give talks about, water and flowers and all this shit in the dirt that needs to grow, right? Handle that part of it, right? Tell us about the C's or whatever the organizational ideals are, right? And let the OC do stuff, because clearly he don't have what it takes to be a play caller in the NFL. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm off it, right? If they don't make a deep run, I don't think, and as much as I hate to say this, I don't think they're going to fire Sirianni, right? Now they fired Doug Peterson for less. I don't think they're going to fire him. I think they're going to can both of the coordinators and bring him on. It's just I'm so, but and Daryl's like, it's too early for this. The year just started. The year just started, but the season is almost over, and we've been seeing this all year round, right? Joey Bosa said it best. The playbook's out there. We know exactly what to do. Follow what we did, and you'll win. And now we've lost 4 of the last 5.
I
love my team, right?
I know you do. I'm not going to.
But I'm so mad, bro. I'm so mad. I don't even want, like, I live in Tampa, right? I don't even want to go to the game. I don't. Because I'm going to have deja vu of 2021 again. And it was like, oh, but it's Brady. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. And I'll get good prices too. I'll get real damn good prices. I don't want to do it.
So this is, Jeff, you're one of the, we do trash talk each other. And we have fun with that. We get, but you're the last person that, you're the last person that I want to say, I told you so to, or we talked about it. I'd rather use the word, the phrase, we talked about it.
Right.
Because I think that we talked about it a few weeks ago.
We did.
Actually, it's been right about a month ago where we said that, I asked you, were you concerned how you were winning close games? And you said you were. However, I did not, even as a Cowboy fan, I did not see you guys losing 4 of the last 5 games. I didn't see that whatsoever. I thought that we might have caught y'all, but I didn't see you guys losing 4 out of 5 games.
Right.
No, I think I held out hope as long as I could. That there was enough intelligence in that clubhouse to really understand what's going on and make changes, right? But clearly there isn't, right? Or it's either a lack of intelligence or too much stubbornness, right? Or pride, right? To understand that you must change. Bro, how many passes have we have batted down from a linebacker who just rushes the edge? I don't even got to rush in towards a quarterback. He just run 3-4 yards in, put hands up, and bat the ball, right? Because Jalen's going to get the ball. It's the formation. We understand it. He's going to turn and fire. Oh, batted ball. Happened last week. Like, it's too predictable, man.
Does Jalen? Do you think does Jalen have an injury that's being covered up, other than the knee?
Not anymore. And the reason I say that is because of the way he chased down old boy and gave him that horse collar last week. Right? There's nothing wrong with him. Right? There's nothing wrong with him. It's here right now. Right? mentally he's having a hard time processing what he's seeing, or the routes that are being developed for him, or the routes that are being schemed for him are not beneficial to his play style, right? He needs to be able to have those hot routes where he can call. He can't call a hot route, right? Because there aren't any written into the playbook, right? If you see cover zero, right? If you see cover zero and the safety is cheating down, right? You should be able to look to your tight end or your slot receiver on the strong side and give him a hot route and say, hey, run a slant, because that's going to be right behind the linebacker, who's either going to press or he's going to sit. And if he sits, you're still going to be behind him. And that's money, because it's over the middle and this covers zero. So you're open and you're running to the races. But it's not happening. Anybody with half a mind can see this stuff, but it's just not happening. And I'm fed up.
I think you
I
guys
don't want to
miss
say I
Miles
have
Sanders.
no faith. I
You guys
don't.
miss Miles
Honestly,
Sanders.
I
You think
don't.
so?
No, right? Because DeAndre Swift got a 1,000-yard season, first 1,000-yard season for him. Congratulations, right? I think what our problem is, and I don't know where this happened, but there's been miscommunications from the offensive line, which is very odd considering how good Jeff Stoutland is as an offensive line coach, right? But passing off the guys who were coming in the rushes, right? And understanding, like Kelsey making calls at the line saying, hey, this guy's a Mike, this guy's, the free runner, whatever, we need to adjust, right? It's not happening. There's been so many breakdowns where Kelsey's going right because he sees the guy coming in, and the rest of the left side of the line is going left and allowing a linebacker to come right through the A gap, right? It just it's so simple. It's so simple.
That's looking like us when Tyron Smith's not playing.
It's so simple, man. I just don't understand it. There's so much.
Maybe it's just play calling. Maybe it's play calling.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? The play calling has been bad, right?
So
and that's why
Brian Johnson
was
the quarterback coach last year, right?
He was, yeah. And he's known Jalen since he was 4 years old. Okay. So it's not a familiarity thing, right? Brian Johnson knows who Jalen Hurts is. He's known him his entire life. But the fact that we're here, and again, I go back to the whole thing where Sirianni says, it's my playbook. He's running the plays that I give him, right? And this playbook is situational. It's based on down, distance, and score, right? Down, distance, score, field position. Not necessarily in that order. You will call these plays and you will not deviate. But you can't do that, man.
But I'm about to say that he might as well be the play
He might as well just be the
OC. He
OC.
might as well. Exactly.
Yeah. He might as well just be the OC if you're gonna do it like that. So do you think that is any turmoil in the locker room? Do you think there's any confusion, any turmoil going on in the locker room?
Confusion, no. Turmoil, absolutely. Right?
Yes.
And the turmoil is the players understand that because of the amount of talent that they have inside that locker room, especially in the offensive side of the ball, and like I said earlier, in spite of all these issues, it's still a top 10 offense, which is baffling. You got a quarterback who threw for 4,000 yards. You have 2,000-yard receivers, and you have a 1,000-yard rusher, right? And yet you still have this amount of dysfunction. Come on, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What team does that remind you of?
Last year.
Which rival does it remind you of?
You know I'm not saying that, man.
That's why I said Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. You know I'm not saying that, man.
Yeah, reminds us of Kellen Moore. Reminds us of Dallas.
1,000%. It was a record-breaking offensive season. But you know I'm not
still
saying
11-5 though. Even with all the turmoil, you're still 11-5.
Yeah, you're still 11-5.
11. What if you were 5-11? You could be the Giants right now.
And they're saying that y'all talking about resting y'all players, starters. He thinking about resting the starters on Sunday.
Yeah, I watched the presser. He was saying, if there's nowhere,
throw stuff off.
Honestly, I don't think so. Right? I don't think he's in the business of throwing stuff off anymore. I think at this point, with Smitty being hurt, with Avante being hurt, and us not being able to move regardless of what we do, right? We cannot move places. We cannot jump to two based on what we do. It's all dependent on what Dallas does, right? I
But if
think
we if we lose,
if you
you guys
lose,
win.
You go
we can
back to
jump.
2.
You go 3. You go back to at
Yeah,
least a 3.
Y'all
yeah,
beat
you're
2, I
right. We
think.
would go 3. No, we would go 3 because it's
Let's go
still well,
3.
no. We will go 2.
You would
We'll
go
go
back to
2.
2.
We would go
Okay.
back to 2. We would
Yeah,
go
that's
back
right.
to 2.
'cause
But
Yeah,
I just
they would go
don't.
back to 2.
I don't see it honestly, and I hate to honestly the mentality of chalking it up and saying we're going to rest folks for this week is
There I missed.
on par with what we've seen the last 5 weeks. I'm gonna put it like that, right? Yeah.
I just
There you missed it.
Uh,
We trying to have some. We trying to have a little sympathy for our friend over here.
don't have no sympathy for me.
We don't like
I was
to
I
hear.
about to
got
say
I got all the sympathy I need right here.
Lord, that's too much sympathy right there. Is that
Oh,
yak?
We ain't
no,
got to.
sir.
Is that some
yeah.
yak?
I didn't say for the team.
Straight rye bourbon.
I said for our friend. I didn't say for the team. Now
Oh, well, fair,
I said for
fair,
our friend. I can care
fair.
less. When
Yeah.
when cries the
This,
river.
hey,
We don't
this straight
care.
rye bourbon's got me. I'm gonna be all right. I'm not playing.
Right.
Well,
But I get you. I understand what you're saying. I mean, we was just saying your feelings and what you're saying is a reverse of what we were saying last year
Yep,
and how we felt last year and the year
yep,
before and the year before. All the damn years Kellen Moore was here. You
yep.
know.
oh my God,
So
yeah.
so so we totally get it. You know, at the end of the day, we rivalries, but we are all football fans.
Mhm.
And we love our teams. So we want to see things progress and happy. And it's crazy that y'all were 10-1. Y'all were just basically, I mean, y'all was right there, like,
We
and then to
phoned it
just
in.
be where it's at now is just crazy.
Yep.
I looked at one of y'all. I looked at a TikTok today that one of y'all got one of y'all fans did, and it was crazy how he called every play that Jalen what was about to happen in that game.
Yeah.
That's how predictable Brian Johnson has become.
Christian McCaffrey did it a couple years ago, or a couple weeks ago, with Eli and Peyton. And everybody's like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, Sirianni's like, we don't run it from that formation, man, bullish, bro. You don't run it from that formation. Everybody knows what you're doing. It's situational, bro. You can dress up a pony, but it's still a pony, right? You can dress up a donkey and say it's a pony, but it's still a donkey.
Yeah, and I think where I came from, obviously I watched you guys' game. I think what really surprised me was that y'all's defense made zero adjustment against the run.
Right.
Y'all still stayed back in that almost was it 2 high safeties.
Mm-hmm.
I all I kept saying was run right, run left. Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
run right, run left, run right, run left.
Yep.
Because they couldn't stop it.
Yep.
And then when you guys did pressure Murray, he just slivered away from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
He just slid over.
Yeah. So I'm more shocked at like you said, you still have a top 10 offense, but I'm more shocked at you guys' defensive play than from what you guys did last year to this year. It's totally different. It's a totally different team.
Yep. And it starts at the D line.
And
right?
the safeties. And your safeties.
Well, I think safety's okay, right? I get, you got Chalk Dot, right? The Milk Missile, Reed Blankenship. He's done well. Kevin Byard, I think he speaks more than he plays. But they've been okay. I think the biggest problem that we've had is our DBs, right? They've just been horrific. Bradbury has been exposed since Super Bowl last year. Slay's getting older and he ain't played in a few weeks, and we have no depth behind him. And then we lost Avonte Maddox early, and Bradley Roby wasn't it either, right? But For me, it all starts from the D line, right? When I say that we're supposed to be a 4-3, right? But we're technically running like a 5-1 nickel, right? Every snap, and we're doing straight rushes, right? And then this week we're dropping Hassan Reddick into coverage for what? Right? Nobody's running stunts. Nobody's running stunts, right? Anybody who understands like offensive, defensive line play understands what a stunt is, right? And that's where you send, let's say you send your weak side D tackle in, right? Or you send your strong side D tackle into the center's weak side A gap, right? And then you run your other DT around him, right? Because what you're doing at that point is you're creating mismatches with the offensive line. The offensive line has to figure out who's going where and who they need to shift their bodies to, right? Which should open up either an A gap or a B gap rush for one of your DTs. It's not happening. We're running straight 4, right? I've said that for 2 months that we're running straight 4, and that's why we're not getting any pressure. Because people are like, all right, bet. They're just going to run 1-on-1. So we got 5-on-5. What you going to do with 5-on-5? Just hold them. Just hold them and let the quarterback do work. And what's the quarterback doing work on? Second level at the linebacker, where we've also struggled this year. It's simple, man. It's simple.
So you miss Hargraves. So you don't think you miss Hargraves?
No, I don't think we miss Hargrave. I mean, but look at the line that he's running with in San Francisco, right? I miss having a defensive coordinator who understands how to create mismatches with talent. We don't have that. Just plain and simple. We just don't have it. I'm sorry. I love this game way too much. I study way too much about what's going on. And it makes me irate. And I can't wait to start coaching now that my kid's getting a little older so I can work my way through the tree.
Well, with that being said, I at one time we put Philly as the best team in the league, and that was more so because of the record. I think we all saw a little kink in the armor, but you guys overcame, some of the kinks that you were faced with and won some games. But Baltimore has become the Debo of the league. They are just bullying everybody.
They bully the bully.
Yes.
Yep.
They bully the bully.
You know who's doing a lot of that? Kyle Hamilton.
The linebackers, though. It's the linebackers.
Well, no. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
linebackers.
For me, it's San Francisco's linebackers over Baltimore's linebackers. Is Baltimore safeties that are just killing it. Right? We passed on Kyle Hamilton to draft Jordan Davis.
You think so? Their linebackers
yes, we did.
Physical, man. They play old school football. They smacking you in the mouth every play, relentlessly. I think their linebackers more than anything. Without their linebacker play, the Ravens are not the Ravens. Their linebackers are smacking you in the mouth every play. They don't care who you with.
Suggs still there?
Smack you in the mouth. And I wish we had that philosophy at linebacker.
Their linebackers are good, but they safeties are balling too, though.
Yeah,
they are.
Intercept the balls a lot, but their linebackers.
But their linebackers are good.
Their linebackers. That's where the physicality comes from. It doesn't come from the safeties. It comes from their linebackers. Their linebackers are like, yo, what you want?
High flash.
What you want? We gonna punch you in the mouth. Damn,
no,
actually,
this little blue ball right here is under.
Under the hat.
I'm gonna get your ass after this.
Yeah, she said hot flash, and men don't have hot flashes. So I'm like, yo, what we doing over here, bro? You want some water? I don't know.
And I was just about to say, Nikki, I'll be in Dallas on the 15th through the 19th, and I was gonna say we ought to meet up and do the show together. But I don't know now. You can't say hot flash.
Damn, hot flash.
No, I think that San Francisco and Baltimore, both those teams, they play the old school type of football, that physical,
Mhm.
being physical.
Mhm.
And for Baltimore to go into San Francisco and bully them the way that they did, and then turn around and bully Miami the way they did, that Baltimore is for real. You know,
Hey, for real.
you got to give them credit
Got to give them credit.
for what they're doing over there. I mean, if we were supposed to play Baltimore this Sunday and it was a meaningful game, there'd probably be zero chance of me putting on my board that we would beat my Baltimore. I would hope
Oh,
it,
0 chance.
but I would put down that Baltimore would win it, would win a game against
I
us.
don't wait. Hopefully they sit some of their main players. We can win then.
Hey,
I said a meaningful game.
I know.
Have you guys seen
they
the,
playing lights out right now, man? They on the road or at home, they just playing lights out.
They are.
That's why
They
Lamar's
are.
gonna win the MVP. On the
MVP.
road, it
Yep.
doesn't matter, and home doesn't matter.
Right, because he's
He's
playing
got it.
lights. They playing lights out on the road.
So
He's got it for sure.
but can I have to ask a question, and I'm not asking this question because I'm biased. I'm just asking it because I'm really. Are the Ravens winning because of Lamar, or are they winning because they just have an all-around good team?
All
I
around
think
the
because
team.
of Lamar. Because look at what happened last year without Lamar. Their season went downhill, even though they made the playoffs. If they had Lamar, they may go to the Super Bowl. He's a cheat code. That brother's a cheat code. You don't know how to
I think it
defend him.
helps.
I think
But-
I
helps
think
to have
Lamar
him,
has
though.
got the help that he needs. I think they
Mm.
have put a team together around him for the style of quarterback he is, what he does, what he brings with his intensity of the quarterback level that he plays, and they have put the players around him. So I think it's the team as a whole. Lamar has been able to step up his play and his game because he got the help that he needs.
I
Yeah,
agree.
they went out and got him 2 good receivers.
Receivers, they got him 2 good receivers. They got him linebackers. You know that they got him help on both sides of the ball.
So
They
did he
even
play
then-
better now or when he won the MVP in 2019?
He's playing better
No.
Which
now.
one?
No.
100% now,
Now,
because the game has slowed down for him, so he's been able to make some throws. Whereas the last couple of years, his leading receiver has been his tight end.
Mark
Well,
Andrews.
his tight
Yep.
end, yeah, Mark Andrews, and his tight end has been his safety blanket. He's had to throw him outside now, and he's completing those passes. So, I definitely would say that right now Lamar is playing at an MVP level. I think the game, I think Dak is in the conversation, but I don't think Dak is the MVP of the league right now.
I think it's Lamar.
It's definitely Lamar.
Yeah.
If we would have won some road games,
Yeah.
maybe it would be Dak. But
Yeah, I think
because we didn't
I
win
think
on
it's
the road,
Lamar.
that's the problem. That's the problem.
And then Lamar went into the biggest plus that Lamar gets is that he went into San Fran and he beat bullies. He went in their house and embarrassed them. That's the biggest mark he gets. Because all the teams really all of the teams in the AFC that they play, they mediocre teams. But KC's not the team they once was. Baltimore was kind of going down the shrink. Denver ain't the team that they thought they were gonna be. Chargers is not the team that everybody thought they were gonna be this season. I mean be honest, on the AFC side, that was looking like the most dominant side. Who does he really have to compete against? The
Nobody.
only team that might give him that can give him a fight is Baltimore. I mean, it's the Bills because
The Browns. It's the
well
Browns.
the Browns
Ooh,
Browns
the
now
Browns
because
Browns
got
yeah
too.
everybody going. Ooh,
yeah
ooh.
because and the Browns but
Flacco.
and the Browns beat them earlier in the season, right? Was it the Browns? Didn't the Browns beat them earlier in the season?
I
I
don't
believe
remember.
so.
I think the Browns. I thought it was them around.
That's when Deshaun got hurt and they beat
Right.
him.
I think the Browns beat them early in the season. So I mean, that's really the only two teams in the AFC that can just really, really get them around for their money.
Mhm.
I honestly don't see Kansas City doing it this year. Patrick, they just don't have it.
No.
They don't have it.
No. They need
You know.
receivers. Now, I got to say, like I've been looking at the comments here, and I think Daryl's got it on point, right? Like he's throwing the ball. That's the one thing that I've knocked him for. I used to nickname him Duck because when he threw long passes, he threw these wobbly little balls, right? Little wobbly little ducks. I mean, hey, was I wrong? Right?
No,
But
at that moment, no, he wasn't throwing the ball, but he is now.
He has done a much better job, like just like Daryl says, spinning the rock, right? He's throwing the ball well. He's understanding when he needs to move out the pocket and run. And like you said, also too, Sean, the game has slowed down for him. That makes such a huge difference with these quarterbacks as they get 4 to 7, 4 to 8 years in the league, and they really start to understand everything and what they're seeing in front of them. And they can make those more instinctual decisions instead of just what the coordinators are telling them when they're young.
Yeah. So let's talk about this before we get to old man time. Panthers
got no picks.
You know, this we can do picks, but I think this weekend is going to be more about it's going to be a lot of upsets this weekend because it's going to be survival mode for a lot of players. They got to go out with a bang because this is going to determine contracts, trade talks. This is going to determine a lot of stuff. Yeah, so there's going to be Washington is going to come out and play us because they know this is their last game and they don't want to go out. Yeah, so they don't want to go out and so I don't think that we could do picks, but I want to talk about this Panthers owner.
Riverboat Ron's last game as a Commode's head coach.
Yeah,
as the Commodore's head coach. That's it.
Last game is Sean Payton's head coach career.
You think the NFL should
after he violated the CBA?
So with Nally's question, she's saying that Panthers owners got fined $300K. Do you think that was enough, or what do you think the NFL should do to the owners that show that type of behavior?
Lose draft picks. They should have lost draft picks. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, you're right. That was one of the things I was gonna say. Take away draft picks, but let's be real. The NFL are owned by the owners. So how much discipline are they gonna get? How
Especially
much?
with Tepper.
Yeah, like how much discipline are they gonna get?
So you gotta realize too. Yeah, this not to cut you off, Nikki. $300,000 is like $5 coming out of our pocket
to them. Yeah, that ain't nothing. But if I'm that fan, I'm in front of my lawyer.
Oh, that drop of water or alcohol, or whatever. I'm still hurt right now.
I can't see. I can't see up my right eye right now.
I got mental anguish.
I can't see.
I got a fear of water.
All right,
somebody drop something. I can't think. I get paranoid.
I'm scared of this right here.
The doctor said I need a backiotomy.
I mean, so it's just
I can't.
You can't have that type of behavior. That behavior is just not.
No, that's horrible. That's horrible what he did. Well, let me take that back. Regardless of what the fan said to him or said that made him do that, he has the power to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, seat such and such and such, remove this person from this stadium, please." And who's going to tell him no? Don't do it. So I don't think $300,000 is enough. He should be. He should not have to come. He should not be able to come to the last game of the season. And like you said, I don't know about losing draft picks or something like that because there's ways to get around, players. You might lose draft picks, but you can get them back, or you can, trade for other players. But I don't think $300,000 was enough fine for him.
Yeah.
I think it's something else should have been also with that.
Right.
But you got to remember too, Jim Irsay got caught with drug, with prescription drugs in his car that wasn't his, driving with them, and they suspended him for what, a year, and his team still came back and was able to damn near win a Super Bowl. So I don't think that's going to be a big. I don't think that's a big. Like you said, the owners own the league, so. But I don't think $300,000 is enough.
Yeah, conduct detrimental to the team, though. If that was a player that did that,
they'll suspend him. Right.
So why can't the owner get suspended? Conduct detrimental to the team, and you're the owner.
We understand that. Hashtag free Big Dom.
Dom is never gonna be free. He ain't gonna never be free, bro.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna be free. Dom is done right now.
Cursed us.
Dom is done.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the flexing games for this last weekend of football?
What's been flexed?
So just like us, we didn't have a to be determined. Our schedule said to be determined all the way up until Sunday. So that means that we play the same time as you guys do.
Yeah.
Makes
sense.
But
you know what? I know why now. To make sure that you guys put on a good game and we put on a good game.
Right.
We both put on product. Yeah.
Right.
Because if you guys had the early game and we guys had the late game, if you guys lost, then we could have not played our games, played our starters against Washington, or vice versa.
Just like last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see here. Yeah. Kelly said Miami owner was suspended and couldn't re-enter until October of last season. You're right about that. NFL wants the most competitive games. I don't think that the Ravens Steelers game is going to be as thrilling
competitive as everybody think. Right.
That's Saturday too. Those are Saturday games.
It's 2 Saturday games. It's Ravens, Steelers, and it's Texans and somebody. But I know Texans win, they in.
Yeah, they have something to play for.
They have something to play for, and if
Indy.
Yeah, if Steelers win, they still need help.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
They still need help to get in.
So I'll say my biggest question, honestly, I know we talked about the David Tepper throwing, whatever drink on the fan, but what are they going to do with Denver now, right? Because the NFL came back and said you violated CBA, right?
They ain't gonna do shit.
By
they
request.
say that all the time.
Oh no, I think this is bad. This is going to be real bad for the Walton family too.
Yeah,
real bad. Because this isn't just an owner acting like an asshole in the middle of a game. This is an organization, violating the CBA, the governing document that, holds everything together to basically scheme out $37 million from a player. That's dirty.
So, but are you surprised that Sean Payton is not involved in this?
No.
What I mean by not involved in this, look at what happened in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Look at
suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Come out for the bounty stuff.
Yeah, bounty gate.
So this doesn't surprise me at all.
Who was it? Was it Shannon that called him a thug, or was it RC?
RC, Ryan Clark.
RC said not that he called him a thug, but he said he was acting thug.
He said he was been having thug behavior.
Behavior, right?
Thuggish behavior. Yeah.
Thug tendencies,
and that's true.
He's got thug tendencies, yeah.
But at the end of the day, Sean Payton, he wouldn't have did that to any other quarterback.
He didn't do it to Drew Brees.
He didn't do it to Drew Brees. He would not have done that to any other quarterback. He did it to Russell Wilson because of the type of man that Russell Wilson is.
And that's
even like
pathetic.
when Russell Wilson came back and said he was like, I'm just gonna give it to God. God got me. You couldn't have done that to nobody. He wouldn't have done that to nobody
Yeah.
else.
He was picking on
I
Russell
don't
though
like it.
since
He have
actually
not liked
preseason.
Russell
No,
since he stepped foot
preseason they
in
were
that
going at it.
building.
Yeah.
He have not liked Russell. What coach says he tired of kissing kids. He tired of he don't kiss everybody's
He
children or
told
he
him.
don't shake
Yeah.
all kids' hands. That's disrespectful.
Stop kissing
Yeah,
babies and
but you
shaking
got.
hands instead.
But what tree did Sean Payton come from up under?
Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells.
And Bill Parcells was known for hollering at his quarterbacks. You know, so
But did he do that
But
to
he
Drew
didn't.
Brees?
But
though?
he
He ain't
didn't
do that
do
to
it to
Romo.
Drew Brees.
Shit,
he
ain't
no,
say
he
nothing
did.
to Romo.
He didn't do it to Drew Brees. He didn't do it to when he was with us for OC. He didn't do it to Tony Romo. He didn't do it to Drew Brees. So at the end of the day, these are they're all grown men,
Mm.
and you get respect when you give respect. That's a whole man married with 4 children. The disrespect was wrong. Well, he got 3 with Sierra, and Sierra already had one. So, but he claimed,
Okay.
but he got
I had
he got 4 children.
you know, I'm not part of real housewives of the NFL.
Oh Lord, no, you didn't.
So I had to think about
Sean's
that.
counting.
But
Yeah.
it's a grown man, and it's all about respect. It's the way it was handled was wrong. It's okay if you want to be upset with your quarterback. It's okay, and it's okay, but you don't handle it the way he handled it, the way he did it on the sideline. You just
No.
don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
That is. Can you see him hollering at Cam Newton like that?
Shit.
Oh no. Oh
Or
no.
can you see him hollering at what's the other quarterback for the Chargers? The old quarterback, Philip Rivers.
Rivers?
Yeah,
Nah,
can you
Old
see
man
him hollering at
Rivers?
Philip? Yeah,
Nah.
can you see him hollering at Peyton Manning or Tom Brady like that?
No.
Randall Cunningham, no, he wouldn't have done it to any of them quarterbacks. Michael Vick, none of them.
No.
What is it about Russ?
He's just down to earth.
He's a mild, meek.
He's corporate.
He's
He's
That's
more corporate than
terrible.
corporate. He's clean
Yeah.
cut.
He's clean cut. He's a mild mannered man. He don't raise his voice. You know, is what it is.
He has no hood in him at all. No
None.
thuggers in him at all. Nothing.
And the
Right. But he
problem
should have
is-
found it. He better find it.
I
He
mean-
should have found it real quick.
He
Oh,
could have been
I'm
like
good.
that one reporter.
I'd have been
know,
suspended.
That one
I'd have
reporter
been
that got
suspended.
hit with the bug and then flipped.
I know that one. Get me out this.
They would have put me out the league
I know exactly which one.
that day. 'Cause baby, it would have went
Yeah.
down.
But that's not him, no. That's not Russell.
But that's not
He's
his.
so
That's
clean
not
cut.
him. Right. That's not who he is.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
But he about to ride. They all about
Let's
to ride. Right up out
Yeah.
of
He's
here.
not that dude.
But
Well, this is
all right, our 2 hours is here. I don't know who I was on the show
Alrighty.
tonight. I couldn't see out of the comments, but I want to know one thing. Where is your boy?
Who? You talking
Yeah.
about Wayne?
Yeah, where your boy at? Like I said, he don't never show up when they lose.
Hold on, let me text Wayne. I forgot. You know what?
But last week he was on here all in the comments. Last week he was in here being the puff
Oh,
daddy.
he might be
All in the
show 'cause
back
you won't get
scene,
him on
all
yet.
in the comments. He was
he
puff
said
daddy last week.
Nikki. He said you bullied him.
You but
He said you
And you-
bullied him.
he might be
last week.
boycotting. He want to come on the show. He want to talk. Let me see. Let me see if he gonna respond.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, this is week 18. Just just
I
a
know
couple of weeks.
football is already almost over, y'all.
So,
Sad day in America.
Yeah.
and this is why I don't look ahead to the end of the season. I appreciate each week because I do not want to see the end of the regular season. However, I know the playoffs is coming, so we have a few more weeks of football. But in less than 6 weeks, football, the NFL is over with.
NFL,
Yep.
yeah.
Over.
We got the UFL now, end of March.
Yep.
I know. Basketball, here we come, baby. NBA,
Yeah.
here we come, baby.
So did the UFL, is it the USFL
They
and the XFL they merged?
They
Yeah,
did.
they
They
merged.
did.
Yeah, they merged.
The Rock is over top of all of it. They combine the USFL into the XFL.
Yep.
So they'll take some things, and I know The Rock was talking about some of the teams that they brought over. So Arlington has one, Michigan has one. I forget. There's a few others, right? But it should be interesting. I'll be interested to see what technology and what things they take from each league. Only 8 teams. Thought it was going to be more than that, but I mean, hey,
we're in a recession. That's
I
why.
guess.
And before we
That's
go, we just
money.
need to get a shout out to our kicker. He has been
Pro
magnificent.
Bowl.
I
Uh,
mean,
Yeah.
we've been looking for a
Oh,
kicker.
he said, "What up, Wayne?" I knew
He
was
said,
gonna
"What's
rap.
up, Nikki? You like those refs this week, didn't you? Baby, refs ain't had nothing to do with that. But we ain't talking about us. We talking about y'all. What you got to say about y'all?
well, on that note,
That part.
That might have to wait till next week.
He
yeah,
ain't gonna come. He ain't gonna come next week because we gonna be done took the division from him. So he ain't gonna come next week because he talked all
Keep
that
the streak
trash.
alive. Keep the streak alive.
But no, but I honestly I hope everybody had a good new year, with everything that's been going on and with people's lives and behind the scenes. This is just therapy for us. It's therapy for us, So I hope everyone did have a great new year, and I hope everyone's new year continue to be successful. We getting close to the end, guys. What we gonna do?
I want to say this for everybody who didn't like the outcome of the game on Sunday, the Cowboys-Lions game on Sunday. It is on NFL Network, and there's 13 minutes and 48 seconds left. So you have time to go get mad again.
Lord
I'm
have
sorry.
mercy.
I'm
What
sorry.
we gonna do about Gallup though? We didn't talk about that. What we gonna do about Gallup?
Gallup
Baby, I forgot Gallup was on the team. Who?
Yeah, we can talk about Gallup in the offseason because he hasn't contributed to the
at all.
Yeah, but we're gonna need a third receiver come playoff time. Don't see that's the
Well, they
tricky
better put Martavius Bryant out there, give him a shot. You
wanna
wouldn't
see
got
it.
him.
So I just got one question real quick. Was Turpin out or something else?
Nah, Turpin played.
He
He
played.
didn't play no offensive snaps though, but he was out there.
He was out there.
Okay, I didn't see him a lot.
Now,
But
Mike
yeah,
McCarthy did say that he was going to that a lot of things that we probably didn't see, wanted to see, you just wasn't going to see it right now. So I took that as him saying that getting close going into the playoffs, it's just some things that he's not putting out there. He's holding back on. But we don't. But I know one thing he needs to quit holding back on is learn how to manage that clock.
I was about to say that.
Does he wear one? Does he wear a watch? He might have to wear a watch.
I don't know what he do, how he do it, but if he can't do it, he needs to give up one of his duties and manage the clock. So, anyway.
Well, on that note, let me
Jeff,
manage.
You want to take us out?
I say, let me manage this clock. Go ahead, take us out, Jeff.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming by once again. Happy New Year. Like Nikki said, hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday season. Hopefully you got everything that you wanted from your friends and family, whether material or not. Season's almost over. Damn, man, I'm sad. I have to revert to hockey or something because my baseball team trash. I don't know. But hey, thanks again for coming by. Y'all stay blessed. Have a good week.
All right.
See y'all next week.
Good night,
God bless.
Good night.